One, two, three, four.
Señoras y señores, bienvenidos y muy buenas tardes. A nombre de la Cámara de Comercio Italiana en México y de Università Yulm, les doy la bienvenida a esta presentación que forma parte de la tercera edición de Encuentro Creativo, un proyecto de la Cámara Italiana en México, apoyado por la Embajada de Italia en México, cuyo objetivo es de promover la oferta académica italiana en México. Yo soy Ginebra, me presento muy brevemente, trabajo como recruiter internacional en la Universidad Yulm y voy a moderar esta sesión. Ya les digo ahora, si tienen unas preguntas, podéis dejarlas en la chat y luego, en cuanto el profesor termine, las vamos a leer todas. Otra vez les doy una calurosa bienvenida a todos a esta sesión titulada La industria creativa en Italia, las industrias creativas en Italia. Y esta tarde tenemos el honor de tener con nosotros al profesor Mauro Ferraresi de la Universidad Yulm. Una breve presentación de la universidad también. Nosotros, o sea, la Universidad Yulm, es el centro de excelencia en Italia para lo que concierne la comunicación, pero no solo, porque incluimos también los nuevos medios, los artes, el turismo, el diseño y también los idiomas. Durante más de 50 años, Università Yulm ha estado construyendo su misión educativa sobre la experiencia, el conocimiento, la conciencia, añadiendo también la competencia profesional, las habilidades blandas y el conocimiento cultural. Ahora daré la bienvenida a nuestro orador, el profesor Mauro Ferraresi, que es profesor asociado en la Universidad Yulm de Milán, también director de la maestría de primer nivel en gestión del Made in Italy y de la maestría en gestión y comunicación de los eventos. Es profesor de Sociedad de las Redes y Prácticas del Consumo en el curso de maestría ofrecido en Yulm en Marketing, Consumos y Comunicación, profesor de Sociología de los Consumos y Cultura de Empresa en el curso de grado en Comunicación de Empresa y Relaciones Públicas. Now, with my great pleasure, I leave the floor to the professor. And thank you very much, Professor, for being with us and for all of you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And buenos días a todos. Lamentablemente no conozco bien lo español. That's why I'm obliged to speak English, and I hope that you will follow me. I'll try to explain every single part of my exposition, of my speech, and I'm ready to answer to all your questions. I guess you are in the middle of the day with the sun probably high in the sky. In Italy, it's 9 o'clock in the afternoon, and the moon is rising. So with the moon as my friend, I will start my presentation. So please let me share my screen with you. I'll follow a PowerPoint, and I'll try to explain to you what is the Made in Italy and why the Made in Italy is so linked to the creative industries. Just a few moments and we will start. Okay. Mm-hmm. Please let me know if you see the screen, the full screen with the creative industries, my PowerPoint. Yeah, okay. So, better to understand, first of all, when and why the formula creative industries was born. Creative industries originate from individual creativity and talent, and is a way to use our intellectual force, our intellectual potential, in order to build up new business and help the wealth, not only the individual wealth, but the wealth of probably an entire nation. This is a definition that Mr. Tony Blair, many years ago, in the last centuries, 1995, just let know to the people. The definition of creative industries is just the one I wrote in the beginning of my PowerPoint. This is an old definition, but in a way, I must admit that Mr. Tony Blair, the Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, was able to focus a particular way to build a new business field, let's say that, a new business field that was in the beginning 30 years ago, and now, in my opinion, and I will try to show you why, and now, in my opinion, this new sort of business is in the center of the, let's say, the business plan, not only of our nation, I mean Italy, but in the center of the business plan of several nations. Let's go and see in a more accurate way what is a creative industries. The culture is strictly linked to the creative input. The culture is able to boost our inventive capacity. But in a way, we must admit that the creative talent of an individual, of a person, is probably not enough to invent new things. I'm not denying the fact that there are inventors in our history, such as Leonardo da Vinci, the first that came in my mind, an Italian genius. Yes, the creativity can be individual, but in our times, The creativity is linked to the innovation, and the innovation is not individual, is not an individual pattern. The innovation is the result of a team, of a group. And so in order to get a creative environment, we must have the right context, and both of them, the context and the environment, are often necessary to innovate, to create. I love this image, the cultural soup. The cultural soup, a sort of place where inventiveness and creativity, they can grow. And the cultural soup is made by the history of a nation, is made by the culture of a nation, is made by the society, is made by several things. You know, I am a sociologist, and that's why I love to put the society in the center of the creative industries. On the other side, the cultural soup, pardon, is a mix of freedom, is a mix of play. You must feel yourself free in order to be creative. No one can order you something like, be a creative man. It doesn't exist. The creativity is able to develop itself when you are free. Let me say that you are free even to be stupid, even to be not intelligent, but you are free. That's the first character you need to be free to do and to think what your brain is thinking, without breaks, without anyone stopping you, saying, oh, those are silliness. You cannot say that. The way our brain works is really a free way. Otherwise, if we put some fence in our mind, we cannot overcome that fence. We cannot overcome that wall. The freedom is freedom from walls. This is a sort of sociological and psychological explanation, very simple. But when I get in touch with creative environments, I feel the freedom running around, the freedom to do something even not particularly focused on the problem, not in the beginning. Let me explain that. When they invent, for example, a new advertising, the creative couple, is called like that, the creative couple is often starting with some joke. They start laughing, they start drawing silliness. We have to invent a new advertising for a new airplane company. Okay, let's draw a plane having a crash. No, don't say that, but what you do. They start like that. They start doing as illness, they start from far. From far, they leave the mind, the brain free to work, and then step by step they can focus on the problem, but in a very easy way. This is the creativity from an individual point of view. The creative industries were able, not only in Italy, of course, were able to move that set of behavior into a group, into an industry, into a company. But don't forget that an environment and a right context is necessary, even for a company, even for a nation. Some distinction is necessary. Creativity is innovation. Well, from an artistic point of view, creativity is understood as the ability to create something new and original, like a new painting, like Monet and the Impressionist, that was a new cultural, artistic way to paint. From the economical point of view, on the other side, creativity refers to the innovation. And what is innovation? Innovation is a continuous and dynamic process that combines artistic element, creativity, and economical and technological innovation. Innovation is a process. And creativity is a jump, is an individual jump to the future, into the future, into a new environment, into a new idea. While the innovation is a movement step by step toward a new idea or a new situation or a new product or a new service. Doesn't matter. Those are the 13 historical sectors of the creative industries. Those are the first 13 sectors that the Prime Minister in the 1995 and his team were able to discover and define. Architecture is, of course, can be defined as a creative industries. Question can arise at this time. Professor, architecture is not new. Is a disciplines as old as the human towns, the human cities. Yes, it's true. It's true. I'm not saying that the creative industries are new. I'm saying that the definition is new, and I'm saying that some sector are new, as we can say in a while. Arts, and handicrafts, design, publishing, film, video, fashion. Italy is particularly strong on it. Music, advertising, software. This is new. Yes, software and computer science are considered creative industries. Why? Because the important thing is the idea, the starting idea. So the mind, the brain, the creative effort of the brain. Software, television, radio, and food. Food is creative. Yes, it is. We are not eating at the same way our grandparents ate. No, we are changing our habits, our customs. We are changing our plates. We are changing the way our plates are put behind us on the table. We are changing the way we consume the food when we go in restaurants. So the food is as old as the humanity, but is in another way is totally new. The way we consume food can be considered as a creative industry. As you can probably imagine, some of them they fit to the Italy nation. Other, no, not at all. And I will try to explain you why. Sorry for the title, is still in Italian. Cultural industries and creative industries. They are not synonymous. There is a definition on that. Cultural industries are associated with the more traditional sectors, such as cultural heritage, visual and performing arts, publishing, music, cinema. So you can have another answer to the question, well, so the creative industries are also old industries, yes. But in that case, they probably are named as cultural industries. Creative industries, on the other side, also include the new sector of the digital economy, such as software and IT services. As far as we, as Italian, are concerned, we preside the cultural industries. We are not so good in the creative industries proper, except for food, except for fashion, except for design, as we can see in few moments. Yeah, virtually every country in the world possesses all or a part of a creative heritage that gives the power to create creative industries. In Made in Italy, our Made in Italy has to do with 8, 10 of the sectors listed above. But as I said before, fashion, design, food, artistic heritage are our point of excellence. Why? Why we are so good in those, call them cultural industry, call them creative industry, doesn't matter. Why we in Italy are so good in that sectors and not in the IT or digital sectors? It is important to understand that this is strongly related to the Made in Italy. And so I'm asking you to follow me back in time in a period that we call Rinascimento, Renaissance, in order to understand where, how, and why the Made in Italy was born. So if we understand where, how, and why the Made in Italy was born, we can better understand why we are so strong in some sectors and not in other sectors. Why we are good, for example, in food, why we are good in design, why we are good in fashion. Follow me. From the 1400 up to the 1500, we in Italy had an era that was called Renaissance, that was very important for us, because in that time, every art was at its best. Paintings, poets, writers, novelists, also architectures. In Italy, at that time, we were full of people able to surround us of beauty. You probably know that Italy was divided in, was divided into many little countries, ducati, principati, realms, little states. Almost every Italian region, we have 20 regions now in Italy. Almost every region was actually a little state. And we, at that time, we were not so friendly one each other. On the other side, those little countries were rich and advanced in technology. I'm just taking into consideration the technology of that time, of course. We were well advanced. And those states were continually in competition. I'm not saying that they were all the time in a warfare, because we had period of peace. But even in peace, the competition went on, even in peace, with other means, with different means. In peace, the competition was aesthetic, was architectural, was artistic. And it was an important competition, because in that way, every state can show to the neighbor, hey, watch out. Yes, I know, now we are in peace. And now you can see I'm spending a lot of time doing a lot of things for my towns, places, new avenues, statues, palace, castles, everything. Yeah, you're right. I'm spending a lot of time. So try to figure out, try to imagine what can I do if we stop our peaceful relationships. In few weeks, I can spend all my money on arms and armies. So watch out. This situation lasts more than 100 years. And that was gave to our ancestors the possibility to change radically the Italian panorama, changed radically our towns, our the entire country. Furthermore, even if the states and the countries were poor, they were, as I said before, rich. So that was the favorable context for we were in search of the new and in search of the beauty for a long time. And on the other side, the shortage of raw materials. We in Italy, we don't have mines, we don't have oil, we don't have carbon. We are really shortage of raw materials. Forced the Italians to find a competitive advantage in what is called the production of semi-finished products. And we were able to processing raw materials that came from the outside, from other countries. So you have two phenomena. One, our manufacturing capacity, because of this shortage of raw materials. Second phenomenon, we came accustomed to the beauty because we had beauty all around. Third factor, I will take as an example Tuscan and Florentine merchants. They traveled all over Europe to sell their superbly colored fabrics, all over Europe. And they forced people in Paris or people in London or people in Germany to speak Italian because they spoke only Italian, they spoke Tuscan. If they wanted to have business with the Tuscan or Florentine merchants, they were obliged to speak Italian. Italian at that time was the English of the Europe. I mean, the Italian was probably not a bridge language, but the business language was the business language. Furthermore, those Florentine merchants, they were paid in fiorini, means the Italian coins of the Tuscan. Fiorini, they were at that time the euro of today, the euros of today. So richness, great capacity to processing raw materials, and taste. Because, as I said before, we were accustomed to the beauty. Now, the cultural and creative industries in Italy is about the 10% of GDP. But there is really the possibility to improve that percentage. However, I must admit that in Italy, we don't have big industries. We are living in a family capitalism. If we scroll the list of the big companies in the world, you'll find the first Italian company, the largest Italian company in 2021 position. Why? Because we are not good. We are good in when we are obliged to start up a new business, a new company, but we are not able to transform this company in a huge company. So we have a lot of little PMI, little and medium industries. Normally ruled by a family. For example, for the fashion sector, there are many families such as Gucci, such as Missoni, such as Zegna, that are in chief of the company. The family, father, mothers, son, daughter. This is a characteristic of the Italian capitalism. It's good for one side because you have many industries, but on the other side, we are not able to overtake the boundaries of the family and transform that company in a huge company. It's a cultural tie, it's a cultural stop that we have. What happened when the creative industries they grow and they contribute to the wealth of a nation? For example, gentrification. Milan is a clear example of the gentrification phenomenon. You will see entire area that where 30 years ago workers area or industries areas with chimneys, with the smog and so on, they now are beautiful places where to live, with gardens and no more pollution, and a new beauty comes in that gentrificated area of Milan. Now Milan is not only an industrial town, but is a town good for tourism, is a town good to see, is a town, is a well place where to live during the day, during the night, and to enjoy the stay in this town. Why? Because the industrial fabric is changed, because the industrial carpet is changed. We don't have heavy industries, but creative industries in Milan. There is a story, an empiric story, that say that probably every big town can, in our culture, go through what is called a golden age. A golden age can last 5 years, not more. After the Expo 2015, Milano was in a golden age. What happened to a town in a golden age? Simply everything happens in that town is good, and has a big appeal in the rest of the world. And it's true that after the Expo 2015, many tourists came in Milan, and they loved Navigli, they loved our way to live, our style, our of course, our restaurants, our shops, and so on. It's difficult to say how a town can live and why can live a golden age. My hypothesis is that probably Milano changed at that time. We are talking of 10 years ago, approximately. Change is mood and change is mission from industrial mission to creative mission. This is a model of creativity I try to sketch. I'm sorry I didn't have time to translate it in English, but it's simple. You can see in that diamond, in the center of the diamond, the cultural object, or if you like, if you prefer, the creative object. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 characters that are the environment and the context of the cultural object. We need a production, we need a receiver, we need a context, we need some code, specific code, and we need some I call the expressivity. The code is cultural, is what I try to explain to you, and is linked to the context, that to say is the Renaissance. The production in Italy are the families. The receiver is the entire world. In 1976, Giorgio Armani founded his company. The Giorgio Armani SPA was born 1976. In 1982, 6 years later, Giorgio Armani, his face was on the Time, New York, and the title was Gorgeous Giorgio. In 6 years, Giorgio Armani was known in the entire world, not only in America, South or North, but also in the south of the world and in the East. I was a young man in 1992, and I remember that I was in California, and every time when they realized that I was Italian, they will say, I have a Giorgio Armani t-shirt, or a Giorgio Armani shirt, or a Giorgio Armani jacket, or a Giorgio Armani suit in my closet. So the receiver of the creative industries can be the entire world. The world can be the playground of the creative industries, if and only if the taste can be matched with the taste of the world abroad, of the world outside the Italian boundaries. We were lucky, probably, I don't know, but our taste, our sense of beauty, like it to the world, to the entire world, and as I try to explain it to you before, is well rooted in our history, in the Renaissance, and is well rooted in some big problem we have, the shortage of the raw materials, that we were able to transform this flow, this big question, this big issue, in an advantage. In an advantage. So let me, yes, it's time, I think. Let me try to draw some conclusion. Now that we are in what is called, someone called that time, the present time, as the new normal. The new normal. After the pandemic era, the new normal is a sort of very strange normal, because we have war, dangerous wars everywhere, in Europe and in Middle East. But anyway, let's accept that we are in a new normal after the pandemic. In the cultural and creative industries seems to be the only ones that can provide a restart for nation. Yes, I know that the richness and the wealth now is generated by the IT industries, by what is called the platform society, the digital devices, the artificial intelligence, and so on. I know. But for example, we in Italy, we are not running that race, unfortunately. We don't have the technologies, we don't have the rare earths necessary, we don't have everything in order to participate to that race. Our race is different, is the creative race, is the race that can, for example, help Italy to repeat what is called in our economical language the economic boom that we had after the second World War, and that in 4 years the economic boom placed Italy to the 7th place among the industrialized nations in 4 years. And we came out from the war, from the Second World War, as a really poor country, without any industries, without bridges, without roads, without cars, trains, nothing, because we were destroyed by the war. But in 4 years, we were able to jump to the 7 industrialized nation in the world. In that case, was the reconstruction of the Italy that gave us that opportunity. In these days, I dare to say that is the restart, the creative restart, that can help Italy, and not only Italy, to have a new impulse and to achieve better levels of wealth, economical wealth, and well-being. If the geopolitical situation can go in a better way, in a better direction. Otherwise, those are only hopes. Thank you for your attention. I think I spent all the time I had, and so if there are questions, doubt, or if you are not agree with my arguments, I am here, and I will try to answer to all your questions.
Thank you very much, Professor, for this very interesting lecture. I was actually taking notes the whole time. So very interesting. We'll read you so we can discuss together. Okay, starting from the first one. It says, what would be the criteria or canons to separate creative expressions from art? Or is that every expression that is already considered art?
Of course, when I was talking about art, I was talking about the Renaissance art and the Barocco, especially. So if the question is, every art can be good for the creative industries as a cultural soup, if is that the question, my opinion and my answer is yes. In my lecture, I only tried to explain the origin of the Made in Italy. And in order to explain the origin of the Made in Italy, I had to go back to the Renaissance time. But for example, in fashion industries in Italy, well, there are strong ties between fashion and art and contemporary art. Our designers, they find new ideas looking around or going into a museum or talking with artists. I remember an interview that a good journalist had years ago with Giorgio Armani. The journalist posed good questions to the designer. For example, Mr. Armani, how can you have every month new ideas for new collections? And above all, how you invented at that time was called like that, the structured jacket for men. And he answered, he said, well, I was looking around in my town. I lived in Milan. He was not born in Milan. He was born in a town in Piacenza, 60 kilometers far from Milan. But it started to work in Milan. Said, I was looking at that town, so fascinated to me. And I was looking to the businessman, to the Italian businessman. And I realized that they were all the time in gray suits, rigid. I felt that they were not comfortable with that suits. So I started to think, why don't try? I cannot try to design some more comfortable jacket that was called in the aftermath was called Destructor jacket. And then again, why they are so gray or black? All the people in gray suits or black suits. So one day, one sunny day, I was looking around and I realized that all the roofs of my town were made by tiles, and the color was a sort of red, brown color. So I tried to put a drop of that color, the color of the roofs, of the tiles of my town, in that gray. And so this was a new, a strong mark, a big difference, a big sign of a new suit with new color. It was a slight different, but important different. They were wearing a suit that was not only gray or not only black, but a different color. It seems a little, but this answer of Giorgio Armani showed to me that a designer learns from everything, from the environment, from the culture, from the art, from everything. For example, in the 60s, Yves Saint Laurent invented it was not only a jacket, it was a jacket, was a jacket and a gown that were actually a painting of artistic contemporary new art called the suprematism, called and Yves Saint Laurent invented, or if you like, took that impression from a new artistic art and a new artistic idea, and still that idea, that color, and was able to create and design a new style for a woman. So in my opinion, and I stop my answer now, the designer brain, the creative brain of a designer is a sort of translating. The good designer is able to translate from the world outside to the suits that we wear.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your answer. We have time for a couple of questions, like for other questions. One is from family companies have a hard time expanding out of the family business model.
No, I lose some word, sorry. Family business model, what?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it says, why do you think companies have a hard time leaving, like expanding
okay. Why
out
they have
of
a
the
hard
family
time?
business model.
Because the
model.
families are
Yeah.
good. I'll answer with a sentence, a brief sentence, because families are good in starting, because they help each other in a heroic starting time, when everything is new, when the adventure is starting, when the new business is in front of them, the family act as a one. Okay, so it's big energy they can produce. But when they become a PMI or a big company, as Gucci teach us, the company, the family lose its energy, and every single component of the family goes his own way, and so the ties, the will to help each other is destroyed, apparently destroyed by the success. And that's why I can say that the family business is good in a way, but is a problem, or can be a big issue in another way.
Okay, thank you very much. We have time for one more question. I think this one may be useful for all our viewers. And it is from Lucy, that says, do you have any book that you can share with us, articles or references to learn more about the origin of Made in Italy?
I wrote and I published a book, but unfortunately is in Italian. Yes, probably will be in English maybe next year. And the book is, the name of the book is Moda Media. In English probably will be Fashion Media. And yes, it's a book that try to explain the fashion system here in Italy, face to the power of the new media. And part of the book is dedicated to the arguments I was handling today for you, tonight for me.
Okay,
so,
Professor.
Moda Media,
sorry.
Mauro Ferraresi.
Great. I can write that in the chat so everybody can see the name and they will have it like in the chat. So I think we're about to finish this very, very interesting lecture. I thank again very much the professor, Mauro Ferraresi. I'm gonna switch in Spanish. Gracias a todos por estar aquí con nosotros y bueno, esperamos que resulte provechosa para acercar a todos vosotros, estudiantes mexicanos que estáis aquí y al público en general a nuevos conceptos. En nombre de la Cámara de Comercio, me gustaría expresar mi gratitud por su presencia y extiendo mi agradecimiento también a las marcas que forman parte del Centro Creativo, como por ejemplo Essilor Luxottica, Zegna, Phoenix, Aeroméxico, Max Mara, Cartel, United Colors of Benetton, entre otras. Y nada, muchas gracias por vuestra atención y os recuerdo que hoy es el segundo día de Encuentro Creativo. Tenemos muchas otras clases por delante y nada, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Thank you all. Thank you for the attention. Thank you. You gave it to me. Thank you for the questions. Very interesting. Sorry, questions. And have a good time. I hope I will see someone of you here in Italy. Why not? Or in Mexico? Why not? Ciao a tutti.